President Trump came to office pledging to do things differently in foreign policy and to do different things. He has been good to his word. In his first 23 months at office, the president is turning his back on the world that America made. The president dislikes multilateralism, skeptical of many American friends and allies, because he believes and has argued that they're responsible for what he calls an American carnage, that America's friends are too willing to free ride on its security guarantees and use multilateral trade agreements to steal American jobs. The president has tried to enact that America First policy, but what is interesting is that his view is not shared by a majority of Americans, or not even necessarily by a majority of members of his own cabinet. And I think as going forward, one of the things to keep in mind, it's not obvious that President Trump's worldview is going to carry on after President Trump steps down. Well, U.S.-China tensions are rising, and I think it's a mistake to look at it as being simply about trade, though trade is a big part of it. I think the United States, certainly President Trump, looks at China as a strategic competitor that has benefited from a variety of trade agreements and other arrangements in the world, but has not played by the rules, and that it's time for the United States and other countries to hold China to account. And the administration is hoping that what will come of its tariff war with China is a China that is more likely to play by the rules. I think the broader question, which is going to unfold over a long period of time, is just how will China respond? But I think one thing that's important to keep in mind, that in the United States at least, concern about a China that doesn't play by the rules, that actually exploits the rules and is trying to take advantage of others, is a view that is held not just by President Trump, but many Republicans and many Democrats as well. U.S.-European relations are going through a tough patch now. This is not a new thing. Those of us who are old enough can remember a number of transatlantic spats. I think this one is different, though, because the divisions aren't over policies, they're over purpose. President Trump quite clearly questions the purpose of the European Union. He believes, incorrectly, that the European Union was formed to beat the United States at trade. The president is hostile in general to multilateral arrangements and multilateral organizations. He much prefers to negotiate bilaterally, one-on-one. This obviously has unnerved a lot of America's traditional friends and allies. And I think what can get lost in all of this is that the two sides do have deep interests and also shared values. And one of the questions that remains is whether or not we're going to find a way to converge on our common interests and common values.